Hey everybody, dude here. Yeah, I think one of the things that's been holding me back is the constant negotiating. You negotiate with yourself all day long. I do it. I'm pretty sure you probably do it too. There may be a few of you out there that go, "Oh, that's not a problem for me." Okay, great. But I think, scientifically, we make lots of decisions all day long. Thousands of decisions when you really think about it. Your brain has, tens of thousands of thoughts every single day. So you're constantly arguing and negotiating with yourself. And it's like, do I eat this meal? Do I eat that meal? Am I okay to eat a one-off on my plan? Or, it's Friday night. Should I go out to a restaurant? My friends invited us over. Should we go hang out? It's this constant thing of negotiation. And I think that when you do negotiate, a lot of times it's very easy to convince yourself to take the one off, And as we talked about in the live stream this week, sometimes the one off turns into a 1 weekend, then a 1 week, then a multiple week, and now you're really off. And we talked about in the live about trying to identify, if you do get off track, let's say you do, you're out with friends, whatever, you have that one meal that you weren't really planning on. Try to identify, what happened right before that. Right before what you might consider a mistake or, getting off beat for a minute. Trying to figure out, what led up to that. Was it a tough day at work? Was it, just a lot of stress and anxiety? Was it maybe some sadness that crept in? Or was it just situational? So we had a really good discussion about that on the live this week, but I want to just kind of follow up with that. And I think we all do it. We all negotiate with ourselves, right? And so I'm going to talk about a couple things today, and we'll keep it kind of short because it's Friday. I know you probably don't want to spend 20 minutes watching the old dude, so let's keep it short. Here we go. I think a lot of times it's not about finding a better plan. A lot of plans are great. We've talked about that a million times, but I think a lot of times it just boils down to simply, it's a decision. You got to make a decision. I used to work with this dude, and he would always scream out, "It's a decision." We were all in a kind of a call floor and making phone calls and making sales. And, whether you had a good attitude or a bad attitude, it's a decision. Whether you go out to eat lunch or whether you eat in or do intermittent fasting, whatever your plan is, it's a decision. And that's why sometimes this whole weight loss journey, it can feel so tiring and so exhausting. Because it's not that it's physically exhausting, because let's face it, eating right and exercising are just the actions, right? Those are just the daily grind. That's just doing it. What makes you feel tired is the mental aspect. It's that constant negotiation. It's arguing with yourself about, well, do I go out to lunch with my friends or do I not? And then kind of wrestling with yourself about that decision. Do I have that one off-plan meal this weekend or do I not? Or, even it can very well be, I don't really feel like going to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. I should go to the gym. What should I do? Right? So I think one of the things to combat that is to make some decisions predetermined. A couple weeks ago, I decided a few things. And in making those decisions, I had things decided before the moment arrived. So you guys know by now I'm bored you to death with my 3 things, but one of them is, for example, I made a predetermined decision that I'm going to do intermittent fasting Monday through Friday for the simplicity of it, because I go to work, I sit in a dusty old office all day running a wood shop, and literally it's just easier for me to just not eat. We got a microwave and a fridge there, but, looks like a bunch of men are running the joint. I mean, I'm scared to put food in there. And quite honestly, then what happens is when I don't have that predetermined decision, it becomes, the guys come in and say, "Hey, let's go to Chick-fil-A, let's go to Chipotle, whatever, And it's easy to just go, sure, why not? Now, making this decision that I'm doing intermittent fasting Monday through Friday, I'm going to stick to it again. Does that mean it's been 100% easy? Not really, because, there are days when I feel hungry. If I don't get enough calories the night before and I'm trying to do better, I'm not tracking those 100%, but I'm building my plates in ChatGPT. It's giving me an estimate of kind of where I'm at, and I kind of know, okay, I think I'll have enough fat and enough calories. I'll be satiated, and I won't eat till I get off work tomorrow. And for the most part, that's been great. So this week, as I've been more prepared, and they say, right, fail to plan, you plan to fail. Right? It's one of those cliche statements at this point, but it's pretty much true, right? So this week I have I've stuck to my intermittent fasting Monday through Friday. Today's Friday. It is about 5 o'clock, and I'm still in an intermittent fasted state. So, and then when I come home, I usually plan my dinner. So throughout the day, or even a couple days in advance, I'll plan what I'm going to eat. I wouldn't say that I've got a menu on the fridge or anything, but I kind of know that Monday is going to be more of a dinner with dude episode. So I'm going to barbecue up something. This week I had the same meal 2 nights in a row. I've just kind of known what I'm doing. I already predetermined what I was going to eat that evening before I got off work. So it's actually made it very easy. I've had 0 fails. I've had 0, inappropriate snacking or anything like that. Stuck to my plan, and the scale reflects it. This week has been very good to me. Hopefully the weekend will be good to me as well, and we'll have a good weigh-in on Monday. But, deciding some of those things, I decided I was going to go on a 30-minute walk every day, and I've done that. So have there been days when I don't really feel like it? Sure. But I go, nope, I already decided I'm going to do that. I'm just going to jump on my walking pad and I'm going to do it. And also like my weekly weigh-in, that's been predetermined. Like I'm going back to the weekly weigh-in. So the things that I've actually made those decisions on and said, okay, like these are basically like non-negotiables right now for me, sticking to them. And lo and behold, things are working well. So to kind of sum up is like, if you've already made that decision and you've predetermined what your choice is already, it's kind of like telling your teenager, well, you're going to go to that party and kids are going to be drinking alcohol, but I don't want you drinking alcohol. So just make a decision before you go. That way when your friends say, here, you want a beer? You go, no, it's okay. I don't drink. Right. If the decision is predetermined, it makes it easier to say to no to what you may or not want to do. So it's the same type of concept. You make the decision of what you're going to eat, how you're going to exercise, what you're going to do, and then it makes it easier to not lose the argument again at 5:30 when you get home and you feel like doing something different. You go, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to stick to the plan. And I think a final key just for today, for Friday evening, is I think it's important to determine in your own mind the difference between negotiation and proper adaptation. So, and we've talked about this a bunch lately, but, to reiterate, like, let's say you hurt your shoulder like I did, and it's been painful, you don't have to negotiate with yourself to go, well, should I still work out anyway? And, what if I get hurt? What if I do? What if I do? What if I don't? Just adapt. It's okay to change the plan given a certain circumstance. So, maybe you're traveling and you don't have access to a gym or something like that, but you go, well, when I get to the hotel, I'm going to go on a 1-mile walk or whatever. You know what I mean? There is a difference between actual adapting to a life circumstance or something that has happened or a situation you're in versus negotiating with yourself and losing the argument and saying, screw it. We want to get away from the screw it, right? Hopefully that makes sense. If all of that makes sense, just leave a comment saying, hey, dude, that makes sense. Hey, dude, that makes sense. I'm with you. I get it, right? Does that mean that every day is going to be easy? No. Even doing like a ketogenic diet or a carnivore diet or a high-fat diet, you get satiated, but does it mean that all cravings go away? No. So every now and then you're going to have a craving. If you're eating a normal standard diet or something like that, it doesn't mean that everything is going to be easy. It just means that you have more of the mindset, because I really think, the progress comes from the doing, right? If you're going to eat right and exercise, let's say, The progress comes from consistency, from being persistent, from chasing the goal, you know what I mean? And just taking daily action and doing it. But before you do all that, you have to win the mental game. Those are just the actions. Those are like the hard actions. But sometimes it is so tiring and exhausting because we're just constantly wrestling with ourselves. And you could apply that to literally anything. You know, apply it to your work, apply it to your family, apply it to your marriage, to your children, to your fitness, to your diet, to your whatever. I think winning the mental game makes the physical game just easy. But if you're struggling in the mental game, and believe me, that's where I struggle. You know, when I'm winning the mental game, eating right and exercising is easy. And so for a lot of you guys who are maybe you've lost 100 pounds, some of you leave a lot of comments saying that, you know, you're just like in it, man. You're just like doing it. Well, that's awesome. That's because right now you're winning the mental game. You know, nothing in your life has spiraled lately. You're controlling your environment. You're controlling your mindset. And that actually makes the physical stuff easy because it makes the choices easy when you're in control. It's for those people out there in the world, which are many. It's not just me and 5 other people. I mean, we're talking millions who struggle to win the mental game on a day-to-day basis. And I think it very, very, very much goes back to that old saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You have to have the decisions predetermined. That makes the action easier. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, if it makes sense, say, dude, that makes sense in the comments. And that's it. Go enjoy your Friday. I think what I'm probably going to do for dinner is I'm going to go out to dinner with my wife. Date night. I think it'll most likely be like a Texas Roadhouse. What I'll most likely order is a ribeye steak with a salad. And I'll probably go with like broccoli instead of the baked potato or anything like that. And that would make a good, well-rounded ketogenic dinner. Should fit my macros just fine. I'll ask ChatGPT. I'll build the plate beforehand, make sure that's a good decision. And if it is, we're going to go for it. So anyway, tomorrow is a cooking with dude. We're going to do some spatchcock chicken. I've never done it before. Totally guessing. I'm going to follow some other videos, and I'm a newbie. We'll see how this turns out. But anyway, that's it for today. Enjoy your Friday night. Prepare for the weekend and prepare for next week, guys, and we will see you tomorrow. Dude.